We welcome you, dear viewers, on Noursat TV and Telelumiere, and we begin our bulletin with the main headlines. Pope Leo, true fraternity springs from the ability to build sincere relationships and to recognize human dignity. Prince Hassan, Eastern Christianity is an integral part of the region's history, and building peace begins with acknowledging the other and respecting differences. The General Secretariat of Christian Youth in Jordan celebrates the feast of Christ the King. From the headlines to the details. His Holiness Pope Leo XIV affirmed that fraternity is one of humanity's greatest challenges, yet at the same time it is not an impossible dream. During his weekly general audience in St. Peter's Square, the Holy Father stressed that fraternity is not something taken for granted in a world engulfed by wars and hatred, yet it remains a gift flowing from resurrection of Christ. He added, "We are capable of forming relationships, and when we truly desire it, we succeed in establishing sincere bonds among ourselves." He continued, "Despite the many conflicts, social tensions, and widespread hatred around the world, we know how disagreement, division, and even hatred can destroy relationships, even with relatives and strangers alike." His Royal Highness Prince Hassan bin Talal, chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Royal Institute for Interfaith Studies, stated that Eastern Christianity forms an essential part of the region's history, and that the persistence of injustice and the absence of fairness open the door to extremism. Speaking during his meeting with a delegation from the Interparliamentary Assembly on Orthodoxy, attended by Bishop Iyad Atwal, the Latin Patriarchal Vicar in Jordan, and Bishop Christophoros, Greek Orthodox Metropolitan of Jordan, His Highness emphasized that building peace begins with acknowledging the other and respecting differences. He added that comprehensive intellectual dialogue is the key to preserving the social fabric of the region. Participants from 13 countries expressed their appreciation for Jordan's role in promoting mutual understanding between religions and people, commending the kingdom's ongoing efforts to protect Christian presence and uphold the values of coexistence. Earlier, Bishop Christophoros presided over a divine liturgy at the Cathedral of the Presentation of the Lord into the Temple in Sofia, where he welcomed the visiting Orthodox parliamentarians and stressed in his homily the need to raise our children in virtue and holiness. Under the patronage of Bishop Iyad Atwal, the Scout and Guides group of the Church of the Martyrs of Jordan in Marj al-Hamam organized a festive mass to renew the Scout promise. The celebration witnessed wide participation from Scouts, guides, and their families. The organizers emphasized the importance of this annual occasion, which reflects the educational, national, and spiritual values embraced by Scouting in both the church and society. During the Mass, the Scout promise was renewed by the group on the 6th anniversary of its founding, expressing their commitment to serve and belonging in an atmosphere filled with faith, responsibility, and cooperation. The General Secretariat of Christian Youth in Jordan celebrated the Feast of Christ the King, participating in a festive Mass held at the Church of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in Fahis, attended by priests, nuns, public figures, media representatives, and a large gathering of the faithful. The Mass was followed by various activities involving youth groups and families. The Secretariat also held a special Mass marking the conclusion of the current term and the start of the mission of the incoming Secretariat for the coming year. At the Church of Our Lady of Nazareth, Bishop Iyad Atwal presided over both liturgies with wide participation from youth committees from various parishes. These celebrations came to renew the mission of Christian youth in serving the Church and society with commitment and faith. On the occasion of the 9th World Day of the Poor and under the theme, "You Are My Hope," the Maronite Church of St. Charbel in Amman joined parishioners in a special divine liturgy. In his homily, attended by Dr. Basim Al-Sam'an, Regional Director of Noursat Jordan and Palestine, Father Joseph Suwaid said, "Today's Mass is a heartfelt prayer to make heard the cry of the poor, stressing the need to respect the dignity of those in need of money, food, and clothing, and to keep them at the heart of our daily work and concerns." At the end of the Mass, the Parish Social Committee expressed gratitude to all participants, affirming that their presence brought a ray of hope into the lives of those most in need. A delegation of school principals from the Melkite Greek Orthodox Archieparchy visited the Challenger Academy Center of the YMCA in Amman. The delegation was briefed on the center's training programs aimed at instilling values and life skills among students. This visit comes as part of the Archieparchy's efforts to enhance cooperation with educational and training institutions and to advance the educational process in line with its mission of forming well-rounded individuals intellectually, morally, and spiritually. Father Nabil Haddad affirmed that developing the skills of youth is an essential part of their spiritual and personal formation. At the end of the visit, the delegation expressed thanks to the center's director, Dr. Ma'an Ouda, and to Ms. Rula Habaybe, Executive Director of the YMCA, for their warm welcome. Students of the Rosary Sister Schools in Jabal Amman celebrated the feast of St. Mary Alphonsine under the theme, "She loved Jesus with all her heart and walked the path of holiness." The celebration included spiritual reflections on the saint's life, highlighting how she lived in simplicity and humility, illuminated by the love of Jesus that filled her heart. Sister Mary Qandah spoke about the deep faith and devotion of St. Mary Alphonsine, emphasizing how her life remains a guiding light for all who walk the path of holiness. Students concluded the celebration gathered around the altar in prayer, reciting the rosary with reverence, giving thanks for the gift of faith and drawing inspiration from the saint's life of love, obedience, and holiness. Under the patronage of Mrs. Tima Khouri Qawar, the Orthodox Ma-bearing women group of the Church of the Presentation of the Lord, Swafiyya, held its 36th annual charity bazaar in the church hall. The bazaar drew priests, parishioners, and visitors who came to purchase handmade crafts, household items, and Christmas gifts in a festive atmosphere filled with generosity and joy. Proceeds from the bazaar will go towards supporting needy families, continuing the group's long-standing commitment to charity and community service. Terra Santa College honored its outstanding students in its annual celebration. The ceremony attended by the Custos of the Holy Land, Father Francesco Elbo, the college director, Father Rajit Mistrih, and Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Giovanni Pietro del Tazo. Began with the college anthem, followed by speeches by the honor students. Father Mistrih highlighted the college's mission and its motto, built on peace and goodness, and their role in forming students to become messengers of peace and ambassadors of goodness in society. The event concluded with the distribution of gifts and certificates of excellence, along with a special Dabke performance by the college troupe that added an atmosphere of joy and celebration. Meanwhile, pilgrims from around the world have begun returning to the Holy Land after their trips were suspended since the start of the war in Gaza. Local shop owners and residents expressed joy at welcoming the pilgrims, who usually visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Via Dolorosa, and the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. The Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem continues to receive groups of pilgrims daily from the United States, Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. At the same time, the city of Bethlehem is preparing for Christmas with festive events and decorations. The municipality emphasized that this year's Christmas carries special symbolism, representing the city's resilience and determination to live despite difficult circumstances. His Beatitude Patriarch John X, Greek Orthodox Patriarch of Antioch and all the East, made an inspection visit to St. Elias Church to review restoration works completed after the terrorist bombing that struck the church in June, killing more than 70 worshippers. The Syrian Ministry of Interior had previously announced the arrest of all members of the ISIS cell responsible for the attack and the seizure of their weapons and explosive. Patriarch John X offered prayers for the souls of the martyrs, the healing of the injured, and comfort for the grieving. The Greater Amman Municipality launched the Christian Pilgrims Baptism Trail, which began at the downtown Amman tourist walk, passes through Iraq al-Amir, and ends at the baptism site of Jesus Christ at the Jordan River. During a field visit, university students were introduced to the area's historical and architectural significance as part of 13 newly launched tourist trails, including the Baptism Trail and the Religious Tourism Trail, to enable visitors to experience unique and accessible spiritual journeys. The Christian Mission in Gaza, in partnership with the Holy Land Foundation, provided thousands of hot meals to displaced families struggling to rebuild their lives amid severe hardships. The organizer says that although a hot meal may seem simple, families living in tents received them with deep gratitude and joy, viewing them as a tangible expression of Christ's love, solidarity, and compassion. And with that, dear viewers, we have reached the end of our broadcast. Before we conclude, here's a reminder of the highlights covered herein. Pope Leo, true fraternity springs from the ability to build sincere relationships and to recognize human dignity. Prince Hassan, Eastern Christianity is an integral part of the region's history, and building peace begins with acknowledging the other and respecting differences. The General Secretariat of Christian Youth in Jordan celebrates the Feast of Christ the King. For more information, please visit our website, noursatjo.org. Thank you for watching, wishing you a blessed time, and until we meet again.